This is the poetry reading and roundtable edition of People and Their Poems, hosted by Sandy Lee Carlson.
All right, welcome everybody to the People and Their Poems Oronog Mountain Publishing monthly poetry roundtable. We got a nice group today on this first Sunday in May. Claire Warner, who is Poet Laureate of Southbury, will be our featured poet, and then we have the really good fortune to also feature some award-winning high school poets. And then we've got our roundtable. So without further ado, we'll get started. If you could just make sure your microphone is muted while others are reading, it just makes for a better recording. Welcome, Claire. Thanks for joining us today from your side of Southbury. I'm looking forward to hearing your poems.
Pleased to have been asked. The first two poems I'm going to read are from my chapbook, Family and Other Broken Things. And I like to read this first one when people don't know me because it's kind of an autobiography. It's called Overture. I am from picture books and prayers before bedtime, a glass of chocolate milk on the homemade doll's house that served as a nightstand. I am from lilac, shringa, and forsythia in the backyard, poppies on Memorial Day. I am from children of Great Depression, from orphans, paralyzed throats, post-traumatic stress. From a penny saved is a penny earned, waste not, want not, thrift. I am from playground balls that must not be chased out of the yard into Route 6. I am from kuchen, crescent rolls, and oatmeal cookies, beef stew with a can of peas tossed in. I am from hand-me-down dresses, scraped knees, banana seats, and high handlebars. I am from read aloud stories, John Thompson's modern course for piano, and an upright grand that once belonged to my great-grandfather, but now molds in my sister's cellar. I am from chicken farms, convents, banks, sewing rooms, hardware stores, and wood shops. From the French Foreign Legion and potato famine, Pearl Harbor. From polio, cancer, tuberculosis, and asthma. I am from Haydn and the Beatles, Yeats and Plath, Little Women and Catch-22. From newspaper roots and movie theaters. From Sisters Living and A Brother Not. I am from homelessness, sanctuary, love, and rejection, all unspooling behind me like a dirt road, or a river flowing from upstream, a flotsam of contradictions, lost faces, lost names. And I mentioned my sister in that poem, and we have, thank you. She was the second child and I was the last, so we have very different perspectives on our family, looking at it from different vantage points. And this is about a conversation we had. It's called What We Lost, and I start with an epigraph from Yvonne Boland. Believe it, what we lost is here in this room, on this veiled evening. What we lost is in this room, mingling with the stale air of our exhales, the milky grief of our sighs. It is a weight of words, forgotten as my grandfather's native tongue, now spoken only as a novelty, or by a few farmers in enclaves, untouched by the BBC. What we lost is heavy in the space between my sister and me, our parents' ghosts weeping with the regret and sorrow of those blamed. What we lost was in the steam rising from a kettle on grandmother's range, peeling the ceiling paint. It is in a glass of milk and a fig Newton for a child in a blue velveteen hat, in a great aunt who felt like a grandmother, seated at a piano bench, singing in a tenor, carved into her larynx by years of filterless cigarettes and whiskey. Even the piano is lost, given away by a careless relative. We lost what was at this table, rubbed smooth by elbows and damp cloths, where my children ate oatmeal, learned their times tables, made tea sets out of modeling clay, where I sewed the quilts they slept under. The language of tenderness is forgotten, like the words of a song my mother used to sing. The moon shines tonight on pretty red wing. The words remembered are those spoken in haste, then held as close as a winning pinochle hand. Thank you. And I'm going to move on to a couple new ones. I haven't read them much before, so I hope you bear with me. I have an estrangement in my family, and I think that's all I'll say about that. I'll let the poem say the rest. It's called Is There a God? Is there a God or a saint for grieving mothers? Mothers whose children live but are lost? Saint Monica or Saint Dymphna? Maybe Demeter. Maybe a poem about an only daughter who goes off to the underworld with the king of the dead. Later, the girl will call it abduction, will not remember how she followed him, how the mother's sobbing would not stop her. For months, Demeter lived with tears on her face, unaware she was crying. The earth wept with her, trees unleafed, fields forgetting grain. The girl imagined herself offered up like pain for penance, like communion gifts to the altar. She was not there to see the winter that came of her absence. And I'm going to read one more and I'll follow that up with a prayer for my children. I wish you a full moon, shining rings of light over a lake, over mountains, a deer staring at you. I wish you a wool blanket on a cold morning, a cup of black coffee, good books, your love reading beside you, a gentle dog to teach you faith. I wish you a quiet stay in a New Mexico canyon, ravens for company. At farewell, they will circle your head 3 times. May you hear music by Smetana, music like water or a Bohemian forest, a piece in 6 movements, all legend and landscape. May you have a world that's not ending, a world where Marlowe, Neruda, and Lorca were not murdered, grew old writing poems. A world where the words, breaking news, don't break your heart. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Claire. I love the way you brought in so many other poets, voices, and names, and Yvonne Boland. She was a poet of the people and could get at the grit of motherhood so beautifully. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I unmuted because I want to say your work is beautiful. It's just beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And everybody's welcome to unmute after the person reads. It's just that while they're reading it prevents the echo and all that. So everybody's encouraged to engage, of course.
Claire, I love the first one about yourself. It was just like so nice, really, really nice. And I feel like it was really revealing of multiple sides of you. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Sharon.
I found the first one took me down memory lane. Truly.
We have similar kinds of families.
I guess so.
I like all the poems, especially the last one, which really touches my heart. It's very moving. So
Thank you.
congratulations.
Jane, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm not really good at navigating Zoom, so I don't know how to but I wanted to say that I really like all your poems, the way that they flow and the way that you read them. It's so natural and authentic, and everything's so specific and personal, and it just like the way that you read the poems, like what's the word? Like it goes with it matches the like the writing. Do you know what I mean?
Um, I agree. Your poems are so soulful and they have their own cadence. And maybe that was what Jane might have been referring to. There's a beautiful rhythm in how you read it. And they all of them were just incredibly beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
I wanted to add that like every little detail and specificity in each and every line really helps make your poems more universal. I especially saw it in your first one, and like it helps the viewer and the reader be able to relate with it so much more.
Yeah, I try. I definitely try to keep details relatable and concrete.
You succeed.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Claire, for getting us started. Ed, would you take it from here and introduce our young poets?
We have with us today 3 of the 4 winners in the Lynn DeCaro poetry contest that the Connecticut Poetry Society runs. Quick little background, it's been running since 1999, and the DeCaro family has made a donation towards that contest every year since Lynn DeCaro died of leukemia. This year there were 84 Connecticut entries. It's only open to Connecticut poets. There were more than 225 poems from poets, high school students in 42 towns. We have 3 of the 4 winners. I put in the chat the winners packet that I put together for the Poetry Society, so you have all that. You have that if you want to look at it. Our first place winner is not here. That was Ella Figler from Educational Center for the Arts in New Haven. And we're going to start with the second place winner, Pavan. I'm just going to go with Pavan, and then you could go with the rest of it, okay?
So the poem I wrote is called The Things That I Remember, and it's a poem about my grandma. I arrived in June, airport still clinging to me, the recycled breath of strangers, the metallic hush of departures, stitched into my sleeves. The porch steps remembered first, creaking in the same old paces. Inside, my grandmother sat in the morning light, sun pulled in her hair like a window into another decade. Who are you? She asked softly, as if the door was closing on me. I stood between the boy I had been and the man she could no longer name. I wanted to tell her, your grandson, the boy in the photo, but the look in her eyes stopped me. This was the woman who woke at 6, scrubbed floors until they shone, sorted letters each by sender, stirred breakfast with the same wooden spoon she carried through 6 decades, through every morning of her life. Even now, the quiet of the room, her hands moved as they always had, slicing a mango, bright, tender, glowing. Its scent rising like a memory trying to find its way back. Each piece placed carefully as if mapping someone she once loved. So I sat beside her and said quietly, just visiting. She nodded and the house seemed to exhale, walls settling around us, as if they remembered who she was. Even though she had misplaced my name, her hands knew how to slice a mango, how to fold the morning into warmth. I felt the presence of the small bright things in the room, the mango, the dusted table, the sunlight spilling through the same window, the things that remembered me, the things that remembered us, and the things that remembered. This one is from the same trip. So it's called Where the Garden Will Be. So I knew going back the yard wouldn't keep waiting. It didn't. I was at the gate with my mother, who said nothing. Her silence spoke of something foreboding. In place of the yard, a hotel stands, where the lobby occupies the space of the sugar apple tree, the place people come in and go, into a place that doesn't know who we are, with no remnants of the soil where we planted. I try to picture its destiny. More rooms, more lights, the slow forgetting of everything that was supposed to grow there. I sat down here in the yard beside my grandmother, burying the seeds in the soil as she taught me. Be firm, she said. Be gentle too. Like if the future depended on your plea to the earth, climbing up the mango tree, never afraid of a fall, reaching up for fruits that were forever out of reach. Now I wonder if those kind of trees will exist, in imagination or just in stories that are told by others, who cannot be sure they did. She cut whatever we brought back with perfect precision, each slice carefully arranged as if for someone who would someday come to take what they need. To tell them what sweetness tastes like, the yard disappeared. Without notice, without regret, it disappeared. I felt my mother touch my shoulder, never speaking, just telling me this is how it happens. This is how it keeps happening. What is erased is not the past. What it replaces is it is the future, without asking what it can take from the past. Tonight's hotel is full. Guests sleep where the sugar apple tree once stood. They wake unaware of what has been exchanged for their night's peace. Sometime soon, this place will be changed again. New buildings, new forgetting. Someone will stand at the spot I'm standing right now, trying to imagine its past. Whatever it is we hold is held by what is gone, but we are not to its end. Our memories are passed on unfinished, becoming all that remains. Where my grandmother kneels, the mango tree stands proud. Someone is always climbing. Thank you.
All right. Pavan is from the Connecticut IB Academy in East Hartford. What year are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Wow.
Okay.
Pavan, I loved your second poem. The first one I liked too, but the second one really moved me. And that be firm, be gentle too was just like a great line. There were a lot of really beautiful lines in it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yvonne, could you reread that line you said about it was climbing, but look back or ask the earth as if the future depended on it? It was just really something. I think it was in the second poem.
Climbing up the mango tree, never afraid of a fall, reaching for fruits that were forever out of reach. Now I wonder if those kinds of trees will exist, in imagination or just in stories told by others, who cannot be sure they did.
Thank you. I think that your choice of imagery and the time and space travel and movement is just so powerful. The hard thing I'm having to deal with right now is you're a sophomore?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Thank you.
Okay. The third place winner is from Glastonbury High School, and her name is Jane O'Connell.
Hello. Oh, wait, so, okay, I'll read. Oh, let me pull it up. Okay, so my poem, should I give like context about it or do I just read?
Sure.
Which one?
If you want to give some context, go ahead.
Actually, maybe no. I'll just go. I'll like let everyone, as I write poems and then I'm viewing it a certain way and what I mean, but I don't like to like force people to see one way. So I'll just go ahead and read it.
Okay.
It's called A Poet's Prayer. God, if I must come to heaven, let my syllables be sharpened. Let them cleave through iron will. Let them crack the stones you hardened. Down here, no word can set a bone or stitch a body back to one. A poet cannot anchor storms. We trace their shape from what they've torn. Still I write, stubborn vice, as if precision might revive what vanished once I named it true, as if a rhyme might count as two. And if I must ascend at last, let every letter be honed like glass. Let every line draw crimson blood, crawl through ruin, bless the mud. And if you can't, or won't, or shouldn't, then don't pretend a poet couldn't have forged mountains or mended men had I been armed with more than pen. But if you will, if heaven bends, let language breathe beyond the end. Let diction dare, let syntax ignite, before I'm hammered into star, silent in your night. Yeah, okay, that was it. Oh, wait, I have a question for you guys. Okay, so I had one poem that won, it was a New York Times tiny memoir contest, and there was like 15,000 entries, and I was one of the 19 runner-ups. So that one, like, I guess is like to the public is better. I like the one I was gonna share better, but like, I don't know, like, should I read that one or should I read which one? Like so.
Anybody have a preference?
About both.
Okay. All right. I'll read
Good
the
preference, Cindy. Good preference.
Okay, they're both take place in my family has a house in Portugal in the Azores. So both of these poems kind of revolve around that. So this one is called Voradouro, and this is not the New York Times one. Voradouro crumbles, volcanic granola, kissed by hydrangea, wild figs, painted ladies lifting, then settling upon the cliffs. Morning lands barefoot, earth still cool, misty hills. The air tastes rinsed, citrus, sea, massa breathing up the windowsill. Afternoon melts into Portuguese. Pie's radio hums on the veranda. Mai lightens with vino verde. Tia Jo gardens in her sun-bleached bandana. The island treasures my blood. Maddows, they whisper. My hands remember what my tongue cannot. Stone hewed into blessing, the honor of a blister. In the evening, my shutters knock softly, winking at the moon. From across the Atlantic, a chill sails in. On every coast, Voradouro salt still warms my skin. Okay, all right, and then the next one, it's really short, I promise. Let me just go. Oh my God, wait. I just had it pulled up. Just give me like 1 second. It's titled The Bloom He Nearly Crushed. My avoo called them greedy flowers, ginger lilies, stalks rising from the hills, strangling his fig trees. He tore them out by the roots, muttering in lazy English. Steal from the soil, give nothing in return. But I knew their secret. Peel the petals just so, and they surrendered a single drop of nectar, a sweetness I chased across the valley. That afternoon, while he gardened, I offered him a bloom. He tasted it unwillingly, fingers tightening around the stem. He never smiled, never spoke, but that evening, the bloom he nearly crushed stood glowing in a chipped vase on the windowsill. All right, okay, that's all for me.
Very nice. Any comments for Jane?
Love that last one. Really beautiful, Jane.
Thank you.
And Jane, I love how clear your poetry is. Just like it's very clean and strong, and you make your points, and the language is beautiful too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And your study of character is really powerful. And I appreciated your reference to the Azores. About 4 decades ago, I worked in a factory called the Barden Corporation in Danbury, and there were many, many machinists there who were from the Azores, and they were incredible machinists because they were farmers and they knew how to use machinery, and they always outwitted the newly minted Yukon engineers who couldn't figure it out to save their lives, and to realize the beauty that they left behind to work in a factory in Danbury, Connecticut, because that would lead to a better life. Your poem just gave me a beautiful painting of in contrast to that. So thank you very much.
That's so cool. Thank you.
Jane, what year are you?
I'm a senior.
Senior. Okay. All right. Our with honorable mention recognition from Rockville High School, it's Iris Hida.
Hello. I'm very grateful to be here today, and I've enjoyed everybody's poetry so far, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the next ones too. My poem that won the honorable mention is a high bun, actually, and it's titled Inscription. A gravekeeper's income should not derive from the consumption of concrete and sealant. Upon request, he will not revive her grandmother's headstone or the little boy's lost father. Gravekeeper will beg for your pocket change and never send you the finished product. eats off of your dismay and desperation, uses your swollen heart to fill the cracked stone instead. Wrap it with your crazy blood-pumping vessels in a bow. Gravekeeper will express his suffering on a dirty white tank top, basketball shorts, and dusty sandals. Decline that your vulnerability is his satisfaction. Claims he grieves for the living as well, and all the paths he must walk are winding. From the Home Depot, concrete sealer, 1 gallon, cost the bereavement. So that was my high one. And the second poem that I wanted to share today is a golden shovel, actually, and it's inspired by an excerpt of a poem from an Albanian writer who was persecuted and then executed during his time in the Albanian dictatorship because a lot of his writing went against the political climate at the time. And this excerpt reads, "How long do you moan and be silent, you miserable heart? This spring didn't even bloom for you." And his name is Gansileka, and this was written in January of 1971. My poem is titled, "The Freedom I Held Does Not Compare to the Spring." My father bleeds history, tells me how verses burgundy paper with long ballads for change. How do I feel their past agony? Where you hold hands with grief, moan at your own words, and suppress your spirit? Be still at the round table. Silent, pursed lips that curl when you taste the citrus. That miserable burn at the lick of the sickle's heart. Thank you.
Very nice. Iris, what year are you?
I'm a senior.
Very good. Any comments?
There's so much depth. And I mean the use of words and the creation and the depth of the poems. I'm just captivated. I'm captivated by all the writers. Such amazing ability to express using words and images. I'm in awe.
Thank you.
What a pleasure to hear 3 young, talented people. It's just great. And Iris, I appreciate your range. There's a lot of variety in your work.
Thank you.
Iris, may I ask, are you Albanian American or?
Yes, my parents immigrated here from Albania to escape the civil war that was happening there at the time as a result of the dictatorship. So my poems are very personal.
The Danbury Poet Laureate, Shira Panosian, who sometimes joins us at our events, is Albanian American, and she speaks to the culture as well, and they say it enriched our experience and our understanding of the larger world, as all you high school poets have done today. So thank you. You've taken us to India, Albania, Portugal, and home again. So thank you so much.
Thank you. What a treat.
For sure. Let's see. Gopal, would you like to read next?
Yeah, I'm ready. So I'll read first a very short poem. The title is Stranger. It's a bit of a personal poem in the sense that talks about dementia. I see my mother sitting on the kitchen table with her stained coffee mug. Her eyes are vacant. She burrows deep into her own realm of blank memories. The air fills up with low breathing. She perhaps does not take this world seriously. Those 2 hands needs to move, to become, to transmute. It must find an expression. 2 birds stand near the open kitchen door, engaging in close conversation. Palm fronds sway gently in the garden at the edge of silence. A squirrel comes close to the window and then rushes back to the ream and idles in the sun. She locates me at the opposite table and finds me, to my dismay, as a complete stranger. And a second poem, which I am reading from one of my book, that's Crossing the Shoreline. It was published a few years back. The title of this poem is, I will read also Iban, like Iris has read. This is a bit of uh, light and shadow. Iban, everybody knows that there's a prose part and then finally ends with a haiku. There is water, and if you are not on it, you are in the woods. Everything around us in water, stone, or wood. The sun paints a white line. Long runs of basalt split the forest into two. The lake is lined with basalt, and the nearby fort wall all echoes and metaphors. Clouds drift about in dim white laces, and the brick color seeps into shadow lines. The faces of dead warrior keep returning, fragments of history spooling into modern times. Low light passes through dark leaves, downward and downward. Darkness, eyes light, black hair, white. We can feel the ghost of distant memories moving slowly through the mind, down each curvature of the exposed mountain range. The haiku is long shadows, solitude reconstructs the interval time. Long shadows, solitude reconstruct the interval time. And the last poem, short poem, which I'll be reading now, is Soul Music. Look at my window, it's littered with handprints. Hands beckon to each other, a primeval language, deaf like a stone, a downpour, so close is your sleep dust eyes. Then my mandible on your shoulder, my ear against yours, our noses pointing away to the cliff. Skies now holding various shades of color. The flowers blossom, fragrance spreads. The voice of the trees is like any meanders, sinuous bends, loops, curves, turns, and finally winding in the channel, a simulacrum of soul music. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sharon, would you read next?
This is one I was still working on an hour ago, so I'm not sure it's finished. It's called A Few Things About My Father. When he was 17, my father got a job setting dynamite in coal mines. This job involved placing the dynamite, lighting the fuse, and running like hell out of the mine. He said it was exciting and paid well, but he didn't do it long. Too risky. He was a blue-eyed man with a steady, confident voice. He had a pleasant scent, not something he wore or washed in, just a smell that was uniquely him. It had a hint of tobacco to it. He didn't talk much except on Wednesdays after bowling and a few beers at the alley. Those afternoons, he would sit at the kitchen table and tell me stories about his life. His mother had died birthing her 13th child. He was 8 at the time. His father was mostly away drilling oil wells in Pennsylvania and Ohio. So the siblings raised each other and raised some hell as well in their small West Virginia mountain town. At 19, my father joined the Army, was stationed in Hawaii. It was the 1920s. The islands were wild and beautiful. He said he played football there, climbed palm trees, swam in the ocean, body surfed, was an Army cook. He loved Hawaii and never lost his taste for coconuts and bananas. When we got a fresh coconut, he used hammer and nail, made holes. We drank the milk. Then he cracked it into pieces. We would hold a hairy piece of shell and munch the sweet white meat inside. Our annual camping trips were where my father seemed most alive. His friend Chris had moved his family to Michigan. We met them on the Great Lake each year to swim, to fish, to sleep outdoors. The men always made breakfast there to let their wives sleep in. We kids thought those were the best pancakes we ever tasted. I have a photograph from one of those days. My dad walking the beach of Lake Michigan, pants rolled up, carrying a fishing pole, big smile on his face. Never saw him happier. That's a few things about my father. Thank you.
Sharon, I can correlate with your father because I used to work in oil company. So I used to work in the oil rig as well. So that also
Yeah.
gives me, that's a very different type of experience.
Yeah.
And it's very nice for him.
Thank you.
Sounds like a character, Sharon. I love the imagery. I feel like this happens every month when we have our round table, that there's things cohere in a very interesting way, and sort of got this sort of geographical thread running through here that's just so compelling, and what place reveals about character, and well, he was everywhere. That's pretty awesome. David, would you read next?
I have a little old poem. It's called She Comes to Haunt My Dreams. She comes not at dawn when rising sun acclaims the day. She comes not at noon when blazing sun becalms the breeze. Nor does she come at dusk when setting sun embarks and sails away. But when the night engulfs the earth and I lie silent and bereft, she comes to haunt my dreams in slumber or awake. Her siren song enchants the ebb and flow of my exhausted mind, which craves a rising tide, will soon cast me upon some distant shore.
Well, I'm glad you read, David. Thank you.
I feel so old-fashioned and traditionalist. I like opera and ballet are passé, right?
It's cool to be passé.
I'm so old, I'm new again, right?
Thank you. Susan, would you read next?
Yes, and forgive me, I'm going to just shut the door. I decided that if I had an opportunity to read today, that I would read something that I wrote a long time ago. I was thinking about this poem. So this poem was written 30 years ago, but still quite relevant to me. And I was at the time waiting for a baby from an adoption agency. And that can go on and on and on. And so I wrote this poem. Bones and blood, to the child I will adopt. You are nothing to me now, not in my body, not of my bones, nor in my blood. Do you sense the longing that wills you into my arms? Yours is the face I see in all soft smiles, wheeling past me, captive to carriages, flashing out of car seats, backpacks with curved fists. Wide eyes meet mine, and you hold your secrets, while my heart stops as you disappear into someone else's car, into someone else's house. I must have faith that somewhere bones and blood build, somewhere you grow, not knowing. You will lie against my warm pulse as we hypnotize one another with love. Thank you. And our baby came into our lives about a year and a half after I wrote this poem. He was premature and left at a hospital and needed a family. We needed a baby. And I put the poem in his in the NICU, in his little crib in the NICU. So he had to be there for 2 more weeks before he weighed 4.5 pounds and we could bring him home.
Yeah. Is it in his baby book too now, Susan?
It is. It is. With his footprints. Yes.
Awesome. Terrific. Betty Lou, would you read next?
Sure. I'm going to read you a very short poem that I wrote yesterday. It's called Grace and Mercy. Gifts unearned. The need is only to receive with gratitude.
Forever the calming, loving presence with the big view of the world, Betty Lou. Always count on you for that. Thank you. All right, Sammy, how about it?
I'm always technically challenged. All right. Sandy, thank you. You sent me a picture of my poem that was at the Fairfield Hills. So I was very grateful to receive that. Thank you. So I'll read that now to the group. It's called Inner Voice. I thought I heard your voice, but my mind usually got in the way. Of course, I thought I was always right. I could hear your whisper, but there was always too much noise. Often I have difficulty hearing you. You direct me to the right path and lead me in the true direction. Your guidance is unfathomable. Blessed am I to hear your voice within me. This one is a work in progress. It's my latest one. I usually have a tendency to read or share my latest, but I don't believe it's complete. And I'm still working on the title. So for now, I'll call it The Return. Where are you already? I've been waiting my whole life. When are you coming back? Is it true you were resurrected? Or am I just misdirected? We have been waiting for thousands of years and cried enough to fill an ocean with our tears. Yet, you still have not appeared. Are you a myth, a fairy tale, a story told to instill hope? Did I miss you last time around? Was it really you looking into my eyes in a dream so long ago, never to be forgotten? Our hope continues to endure now and forever, however long it may take. We await your return, Messiah.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you.
When you texted me that your muse was gone, first I didn't know. You're a creative muse or your personal muse, and I was afraid to ask, and I think they're both present. So amen and hallelujah, brother. It's so great to have you on the Zoom again. Cindy, would you read next?
So I'm going to read one of the poems that I did for the Purdy book. This is Cafe, and it was a picture by Donald Purdy of a cafe scene. In France we dance, rhythmed and entranced, imbibing cafe's gaiety of merriment's delight, circling in sensory fluidity, we swirl, swaying, melding nights excite, twinkling upon dance room floor. In frolic we play, cheek upon cheek, hidden within darkened smoke light. Swiveled swiftly, seen and found, two ladies converse. a soft whispered sound, tattling tales of impropriety, yet in their touch of gossip gain, our sad cafe did falter, ending Galore's festivity, ceasing cafe's luster. In remembrance of the ballad of the sad cafe, caution best to guard against, not to tamper and tread upon the gossip rain. Okay, so that was the first one. And then the second one is in the country. In this picture, like I had to write a fourth poem and I was going to go somewhere else. And I opened up the book and there was this picture and it just captured me. So green fields, lane fallow resting, nesting upon golden fields cascading, unbound, cajoling pastoral hollows, nestled serene. Rolling hills harmonize, horizon skyscape, framing the farmland, caressing its heartland. Mid-ground, building stands singularly aligned, echoing her hearth's buoyancy, heard in the hollows. Brush-stroking aura's tranquility, hued heights awaken grandeur, accenting artist's mastery, subdued in the sublime, as in country rolls on.
Okay. Thank you, Cindy. You mentioned Donald Purdy, and I'm just going to give a little plug for this project that Oronog has going on right now. Anybody can participate in it, but a member of our poetry group, Amy's dad was Donald Purdy, Amy Diorio, and we were doing an ekphrastic project to celebrate her dad's art, and he was amazing and prolific. Paintings have a surreal, dreamlike quality to them. They kind of live with you, and then they tell stories. It's just a really interesting experience to engage his art and to write about it. But the paintings do invite storytelling. They're really very cool. And Ed just posted a link there. It's a live project right now. If anybody wants to have a look at Donald Purdy's work, and this is the collection that Amy and her sister put together after he passed away, but it's a portion of what he did. And he's findable online. If you want to create something, write some poetry about his art for this collection, you're more than welcome to do it. It's another kind of labor of love. So thank you for giving us a taste of that today, Cindy. How about you, Ed? Did you have something today?
My poem today is called Watching the Street Vendor. On a chilly autumn day, the popcorn in the painting smells so good in the park. Behind the street vendor's cart, there's a line of 5 ladies in colorful coats and wide, warm hats. One lady, balloon floating up from her wrist, eases to the cart to serve a scoop as companions on either side of her watch closely. The street vendor in cap, beard, and apron appears uninterested as 5 balloons still in hand. He scans the park for the next customer. Free popcorn with each balloon, I hear him saying. Lots to go around. And then from a sunny childhood day at the ballpark, I hear a different vendor shouting, popcorn here. Get your hot butter popcorn. As if his livelihood depended on every sale. Thank you.
Ed, I love the popcorn smells so good in the painting. That just killed me.
Thanks.
It's another Purdy, right, Ed?
Yes, it's based on another Purdy work.
Yeah, we would just love it if you guys all wanted to contribute something to the collection. It's really becoming quite something, and it's a joy to create these collections and just be able to showcase a range of people in there. I have a poem today called Rare Moonlight, and I got kind of caught up in the National Poetry Writing Month, write a poem a day thing. And I teach high school English, and I have mostly sophomores, and there are different kind of sophomore than Pavan, I gotta tell you. It's just a different experience altogether. And I found that the poetry was just a wonderful tonic for this time of year in the school calendar. And we were at a poetry event in Litchfield, Connecticut the other night. There was a celebration of poetry followed by an open mic, the Litchfield Community Center. That was amazing. And it was a full moon on the way home. So this is one that was inspired by that. It's called Rare Moonlight. In darkness, I feel the pull of the moon, as in my dream, I take hold of the light, a lifeline cast down from silent heaven, a hope I seek through the shadows of night. It's by a rare chance I am out tonight, when the moon is full, her bounty streaming. I am lost in the leafless shadows of trees and the flutter of wildflowers, dreaming. These days I wake early to greet the dark. These days I am first up to hear the birds. I watch one light give way to another. I find joy here, a place to be with words. Loneliness is the companion of dreams. Solitude, the course of the moon's cold streams. Thank you. I'm a happy person. It doesn't always come through in the poems.
I love loneliness is the companion of dreams, Sandy.
Oh, thank you, Sharon.
Beautiful.
I want to thank everybody for being a part of the conversation today. It was a real treat. A neighbor and Claire kick us off with some really amazing poetry that resonated with so many of us, and to have so many talented young poets give us part of their afternoon to share their amazing work.
If you'd like to know more about what we do, please visit our website at oronogmountainpublishing.com. Check out our poetry anthologies and learn how you can take part in an upcoming collection. And learn more about our services. Let us help you publish your next book. Once again, this has been People and Their Poems, presented by Oronog Mountain Publishing. Have a great day.